In this video, we're going to look at empiricism versus rationalism. Empiricism basically deals with what we perceive through our senses. That is what we know, or that is how we gain knowledge. So empiricism is a belief that only when we experience something do we learn it. In modern science, we look that truth is something that can be confirmed or be disproved by experience. How do we know if something is true? Well, we either experience it or it can be scientifically proven. Only statements that can be verified are those that can be checked through concrete experience. This method encourages critical thinking. The role of the teacher would be to focus on telling children about the world that we live in. To focus on things such as science, rather than the arts and the culture, or arts and culture. How does analysis work with empiricism? Definitions are important and they need to be precise. 1 apple plus 1 apple will be equal to 2 apples. We need to analyze and define precisely what it is by certain definitions. Why do we need this? We may think we all agree on the meanings of terms, but careful analysis may show that we don't. Education as a word needs a precise definition before the aims and goals are stated. So an example would be of this: if I say to you the word prosperous. If you don't understand prosperous to mean the same as what I do, and we continue having the discussion on prosperity, we are not going to be on the same page. And empiricism says that definitions are very, very important. We need to ensure that we all understand a concept the same before we can analyze or discuss it. So how does it work in education? Outcomes-based education is insistent on evidence of a child's mastery of subject or discipline. So it's based on the outcomes. Can the child achieve what was set out? The modern curriculum that we follow today is a result of empiricism. The examination is based on the need for evidence. Why do our children need to write exams? So we can find the evidence, the proof that they have mastered the material. Teachers are judged on how well the learners are performing. Maths and science teachers are regarded as more valuable. This is still happening in schools today. So what are some of the dangers of empiricism? Well, it encourages the focus on what can be measured and tested only. Therefore, any of the creativity in the world is disregarded. Teachers will place high emphasis on IQ tests, with other words, intelligence, exams, and defined measurable outcomes. It suggests that human emotions are not important. The teaches us to ignore values and culture because they cannot be defined or measured or tested. The next aspect we're going to look at is scientific rationalism. They say that we should question what we are told. Don't believe something just because I, the teacher, say something. Actually think for yourself. We need to sense perceptions coupled with reason and logic. So look at what you experience and use your common sense, your logical reasoning, to determine whether what I'm telling you is correct or not. Identify falsehood. We should be prepared to constantly revise our knowledge. We need to be open to being wrong and accept that if we are wrong, it is okay. So what exactly is it? It focuses on fallibilism. whether a statement is a fallible, with other words, true or false. In education, it aims to develop a questioning attitude. It tends to encourage open-minded, anti-dogmatic, and anti-authoritarian characteristics. It believes in democratic societies and can solve problems through sharing. It cannot be pursued in societies ruled by authoritarian power struggles. So it is not influenced much by our formal education systems due to the fact that it teaches us to question everything. How will it work then in education? The impact on education is the emphasis of secularism, that there's less emphasis on religion, and we can see how schools have moved away from religion compared to what it was maybe 50 years ago. Here is an article. I will share the link for you under more resources. That is definitely worth reading. It discusses the advantages and the disadvantages of rationalism as well as empiricism. If we had to do a quick comparison between the two, we can see our theorists or our philosophers of rationalism would be mostly Plato, and on the empiricism side, it is Locke. You can read through the rest. The first lot make use of deduction. Empiricism makes use of induction as reasoning. The comparison continues by telling us that rationalism feels that the teacher teach learners to be critical thinkers, while in empiricism, the teacher is the transmitter of knowledge. It is generally a teacher-centered approach. We focus on textbook and we stick to it. I hope this has helped you to have a better understanding of rationalism and empiricism.